You are tuned in to the J-Dog and Leevis Show. After years of playing together in bands and tons of late-night conversations, it was decided that it was only fair we repeat it all here. Tonight, on the J-Dog and Leevis Show, we'll be talking about Michigan. It's a great state.
It's the mitten, right?
It is the mitten.
All right.
There's some other parts to it, too.
You'll have to tune in to find out.
It's not just a mitten. We'll also be talking about the Grit Fit.
Yes.
It's an event in Belvedere. You're going to want to learn about this one.
Mm-hmm.
IV impressions. You need pictures taken? We'll tell you where you can get them taken. Also, we're going to talk about Father's Day. It's an event that's coming up this weekend.
So I've heard.
We are fathers, so we have every right to talk about it.
That's right. We get to talk about ourselves for once. We never talk about ourselves on this show.
We don't. Ever. Number one topic of the evening. We'll be spending a lot of time on it. Talking about whores.
Did you say horse?
No, not a horse.
Oh.
Whores.
I see.
There's lots to learn about them. And we got it all right here. On podcast number 17 of the J-Dog and Leevis Show. And now, sit back and enjoy this original song, Whiskey and Cigarettes by Leevis.
Cash in my pocket, but I'm staying in tonight. End of month, rent's paid up and I'm feeling fine. Keep breaking even, but I cleared my debt. Less you're counting whiskey and cigarettes. Friends come slowly, but most just stay away. Got no ties here and I like it that way. Ain't never met nobody I couldn't forget. Less you're counting whiskey and cigarettes. A song and a riff and a pack and a fifth will get me by. I'll be alright. Ain't exactly rich, but I wouldn't say I'm poor. These days the sins of age ain't so appealing no more. Came clean with Jesus, now I got no regrets. Unless you're counting whiskey and cigarettes. A song and a riff and a pack and a fifth will get me by. I'll be alright. A song and a riff and a pack and a fifth will get me by. I'll be alright.
Come on, Michael.
It's like he's avoiding us.
He's trying to. Well, we'll leave him a message either way.
Yes. I think that's appropriate.
If he has voicemail.
Please leave your message for
Michael Gould.
All this technology.
Is there a beep?
We still sound like robots. I haven't heard one yet.
Michael Allen Gould, J-Dog and Leevis here on Thursday evening during the show. We tried to call you. We wanted to tell you how disappointed we were, and you go ahead, Lee.
I have to express my displeasure and disappointment in general in the Urban Dictionary update. I mean, we've learned 9 words, and you completely failed me. Completely.
And which one did he leave out that came back to haunt us?
Greek, or in specific, going Greek.
Going Greek.
Going Greek. Thanks a lot, Michael Allen Gould.
Apparently Hookers knows what that means.
Yes, they do.
But we don't.
Right.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, do you think he gets the point? Oh.
We're going to have to knock him up to like 15 words.
Well, being that that's how we started the show,
oh,
we might as well talk about why that was important. Since Michael didn't want to talk to us. Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
J-Dog and Leevis show.
J-Dog.
It's June 16th. We were supposed to have Alex Randau on tonight.
Yeah, I heard he...
doing the Summer Brew Review.
Okay.
Couldn't make it.
All right. So I don't have to drink a bunch of beers?
You do not have to drink a bunch of beers.
Okay.
You can sip on your whiskey that I poured you, and...
Thank you.
And you brought some root beer.
I did, but it's not your daddy's root beer.
It's not your father's root beer.
That's right.
So, no, Alex had some other engagements. He, an old ex-girlfriend came to town.
That'll do it.
And gave him a call.
And he had some explaining to do.
Well, yeah, he had some explaining to do with why he was living with another woman.
That he's been married to for...
He was supposed to wait for her for like 4 or 5 years.
Oh.
And she didn't come around because she had some trouble. She was incarcerated for a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But she finally, she's back on her feet. She's back in society. She paid her debt to society, and she's doing well. Got a hold of him, and here he is living with a woman, in Chicagoland.
I wish I could have been there to see that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough on everybody, really. So he had to go take care of that tonight, and that's fine. He's going to come back, though.
Okay.
We have booked, I believe it's July 14th.
Oh, all right.
I have also secured Seamus O'Leary to call in that day.
Good.
Because those two have to get together.
Yeah, and Seamus is a busy guy.
He is a busy guy.
So he's got a lot of things going on.
So I believe tonight Seamus is at his son's cricket match.
See? Yes.
They're playing under the lights tonight. And I think they have a doubleheader cricket.
Okay.
So, getting back to the Michael Allen Gould call.
Yes.
If you listened to last week's podcast, we strolled our way through Genoa Days.
Yes, we did.
We started at one end at the Ferris wheel, made it to the other.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were done, wrapped up the show, we decided to spend the evening at Genoa Days and hang out in the adult section, which is the bars on the street.
Yes.
And we made our way down to Hill's Tap,
mm-hmm.
Established in 1969 by Kurt Hill.
Okay.
Now owned by Jim Hill.
All right.
And
this is why you got to take a townie with you. Otherwise, you don't know these things.
That's correct. So Jimmy Hill was sitting outside on a bar stool, enjoying Genoa Days right outside his bar, as he has for the past 87 years or however long it's been going on.
Yep.
And we were talking to him, and a young, pretty lady
mm-hmm.
Came by and said, "Excuse me," and gently placed her hand on my chest as she said, "Excuse me," and walked in. And I thought, well, that was nice of her.
Wait, did she, slap you out of the way?
It didn't really slap me out of the way. It was just a gentle "excuse me," and a hand. There was no need. I wasn't in her way.
Okay.
I thought, well, that's...
Mm-hmm. Well, it's crowded. It's Genoa Days.
I'll just take it as a compliment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. My body and everything.
Well, I have a hard time walking by without...
I mean, pictures are leaking out on the website, but you get to look at this every Thursday and every podcast. So we'll be talking about how that body's going to change later on, too.
Oh, yeah. Good.
It's going to change.
Glad to hear it.
One way or another, it's going to change. So we're done talking with Mr. Hill outside, and Leevis and I walked in and sat down at the bar, or bellied up at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And Leevis was done drinking for the evening.
Yes, and I would like to blame the Corner Grill for that, because if I had not eaten 65 pounds of food prior to trying to walk up and down Genoa Days, I might have had a little bit more room for alcohol, but I did not.
Right, you didn't know that when you order a number there that you're ordering the pounds of food.
Pretty much,
and
yeah.
I think it was a number 14 or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It was
with a side of 27. His burger, I mean, you can say it's a big burger,
but it had to be 8 inches across and maybe 2 inches thick.
The numbers don't make any difference.
And the waffle fries were just the ones on the bottom were cold by the time you got there.
They're delicious.
Just a huge pile. And I sat back, and of course, Leevis said, "Go ahead and eat whatever you want. I'm not going to finish this." I'm like, "That's fine, man. Go ahead." I'd already eaten at home, so he started digging in, and I just watched the glory before me.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no, you didn't just watch it. You goaded it on. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like,
I did.
I'm done, and you're like,
well, there was
you
like
can't
2
be done.
bites left.
Yeah, 2
You can't
4-pound
stop
bites.
You can't stop now.
I
Eat
really
the
could
burger.
have. I really should have stopped then.
You should have stopped.
And yeah,
But because you didn't stop, I think the evening was more fun.
probably, yeah.
So yes, this was a gigantic burger. If you go to Corner Grill in Genoa, you get way more food than you pay for.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
sometimes you pay for it
later. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And
So-
I was down at Hill's Tap. I was sated. I was done.
Right.
So
I believe you got a water in a solo cup.
yes,
If I remember.
Yep.
And Leevis bought me a beer, and Seamus, it was a shock top.
I'm classy like that.
They now have shock top on tap at Hill's Tap.
You just like to say shuck top.
Shock top. And I actually enjoyed it. It was not a bad beer. But that's not where the story's going. The young lady that we spoke of earlier.
Oh, that's right. There is something more exciting than your beer.
The young lady we spoke of earlier, she came in, and it was me at the end of the bar sitting next to Jimmy Hill talking. He was on my left, Leevis was on my right, and the bar stool next to Leevis on his right was open.
Yes.
Until she came and
sat
sat
down.
down. Which most people do when
Yeah.
they come into a bar. They sit down, they order a drink.
And that was fine. She was friendly.
She sat down, she said hi.
Yep. Chatty.
I believe she ordered a beer in a glass. I don't know what it was. It was a small beer, the first one.
I think that, yeah, it could be.
And she was taking selfies of herself at the
Okay.
bar. She was alone. I thought that was interesting. I tried to get off my bar stool quick enough to ruin the selfie and get behind her, but I was too late. I don't move quite like I used to. And then she was done taking the selfie and just somehow or another just started up a conversation saying, "Hey guys, how's your evening going?"
Yeah.
It's going great.
Pleasant.
Pleasant. Wonderful. It's Genoa days.
Yeah.
I mean, look out the window. There's a carnival.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids. There's families. Everywhere. Families.
Yes.
Did I say families?
Even in Hill's Tap, I believe there were families,
Yes.
and this is one of the glorious things about Genoa Days is that there are children that swing through the bars, grab money from their parents, and then shoot right back out.
Exactly.
It's really kind of amusing.
And they don't know which bar they're in.
Right.
And literally, the winery was open the following night. They were not open the night we were there.
Okay. Yeah. No.
But so you say like Saturday night or Friday night they were open. So that's 5 drinking establishments within the confines of Genoa Days.
Yeah, like 3
on
blocks.
the street.
Yeah.
So you got 3 bars, you got a brewery, and a winery.
You just got to get past the Ferris wheel, and then you can.
So the kids, it's like hit or miss. You got to find mom and dad. I got to go through all 3 or 5 establishments. So yeah, there's kids in and out. It's kind of a weird atmosphere. It's usually really crowded. Lot of beer going in and out. So why not just randomly talk to people?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good time to meet people, have fun. So she was very nice, very friendly, and I had at one point in my old age, I do this. I'll have you know, I drink salt in my beer. Well, I don't drink. Well, I guess I do drink the salt once it's in there.
Yeah.
But I add salt to
But
my
you,
beer.
yes, and what's the old man trick for doing that?
You just dump a bunch in the middle and then you poke it with your finger and it all drops down, and it creates a
Okay.
real foamy head on it. My father used to do it.
So it
And-
takes the foam off of it?
No,
or
it actually adds foam to it,
Oh, okay.
and it gives it a salty flavor.
All right. I'm a little
So
low on my chemistry.
I've been doing it for about the past 5 years as I get older. I didn't
see.
like it when I was younger, but now
Mhm.
for some reason it's nice.
like the foam.
Rufus from Tavern Hill Liars,
Oh,
who
yes.
used, before he moved to Maine, used to frequent. You know Rufus.
Yes, I do know Rufus, but I was not expecting that name to come up.
He. What was his last name? I forget his last name. Wasn't it Rufus McCracken or? Oh my goodness gracious! He was
Think
just
of
here
it
not
later.
too long ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, he used to go in there and he used to do the same thing. And then when we had our Tavern Hill Liar practices out in Lombard at Punky's bar, we would always ask for the salt shaker
Yes.
with our Labatt's Blue,
Labatt.
which was always on tap there. So yeah, I put the salt in my beer, and then surprisingly enough, she had a bottle of beer in front of her that she was pouring into that little glass, and she said, "I'll take that salt shaker."
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And didn't put it in the glass. She was pouring it in the bottle.
Oh, okay.
Which you just don't do. It doesn't work that way.
I don't remember seeing that, but if you're trying to create foam, then yeah, why would you put it in the bottle?
Yeah, just put it. Anyways, so she put salt in there, and she says, "I do that all the time." I'm thinking, no, you don't. No, you don't. Nobody does that. I do that.
Yeah, well, but you don't do it wrong.
Right.
And here's the other thing.
Right.
You don't go making up stories to a Genoan in Genoa on Genoa days about beer.
No.
I mean...
In Hill's Tap.
In Hill's Tap. Yeah, exactly. This is just a bad combination for...
So already we could tell she was not a local.
Yes.
Now,
Yep.
she did bring up that she frequented Skis, and I believe there was another place called Lucky's or Sycamore.
Jokers?
Jokers, maybe it was Jokers.
Something like that. Sycamore, yes. So
and
maybe
those
she
are
was
actually
from...
two bars in Sycamore, so she got those right. And she just wanted to be a part of our
But
conversation.
she apparently had never had a beer in either of them.
No, I don't think so. Or I know she never had a salt shaker.
Yeah.
You just don't put it in the bottle. So...
This is a kid's show. I love it.
Children,
remember. Grab the salt shaker. Don't pour it straight into the bottle.
wide rim glass, center. Make the actual head that's there sink in the middle like it's a sinkhole, and then you jam your finger in it and poke it all to the bottom, and the foam comes up the sides. And the foam contains the salt because the bubbles and the aeration bring the salt back to the top.
Oh.
There's a technique. She tried.
Yes.
I'll give her that.
Listen to Uncle J-Dog, kids.
There is a technique. So, she then ordered... Well, no, she didn't order. She didn't order another beer. I'm getting ahead of myself here. She started more conversation, and it was just casual conversation back and forth, and we had said, we just did Genoa Days, we did a podcast, just general stuff. And then she put her hand, I think this is what I remember happened next, onto Leevis's right arm and said, "Are you going to buy me a drink?"
It was abrupt.
And he kind of looked down and kind of looked at me, and I said, "Well, you bought me a beer, so you might as well buy her one." And he said, "I have $4 left." And I said, "Well, you can get her a PBR, because I know they're back there, and I know they're about $2 behind the bar. He's got them hidden
in the can."
Yes, they're definitely hidden somewhere. Now, what could that possibly be?
I don't know.
I think that's a warning that we shouldn't talk about this story anymore. The board's going
That's
crazy.
our-
Stop talking,
that's our
guys. This is a
censors.
family show. Warning. So,
FBI.
yeah, then she got her beer, and I believe she chugged it.
Yes.
But I don't
The
know if she-
PBR?
Yeah, the PBR.
Yeah.
She put her, or kind of clinched the can and chugged it, and I don't know where all this was coming from. And she was by herself, and we tried to figure this out for the past week, and we couldn't figure out where the conversation came from. I believe it came from Mr. Hill, the bar owner. Something about
Yes.
anal sex being illegal in Georgia. And it was a joke or something, and I can't remember the actual point of when that came up.
The whole thing was just jarring.
It was jarring.
It was like, it was weird conversation from my right, weird conversation from my left. I'm like...
I remember
So
Lee's
now-
drinking water out of a Solo cup.
Yes.
So, then I had brought it up over to the conversation to my right and said, "I think anal sex is illegal in Georgia. Or maybe it's oral sex." And her eyes lit up. And she said, "Anal sex? In Georgia?" She's like, "Now we're talking." She said, "Now we're talking."
I don't remember that, but it doesn't surprise me.
So at that point, I glanced down and I noticed she has a wedding ring on.
Okay.
She then proceeded to talk about her husband.
Yes.
Not that he's there. Not that he's
Right,
anywhere
yeah,
near
yeah.
her.
Excuses for why he's not there.
And said, "I'll have you know, my husband is Greek." Okay.
And you know what that means.
No.
Yeah,
And as we opened up the show, we let Mr. Michael Allen Gould know how disappointed we were that we didn't know what that meant, and we were not prepared for this situation.
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
So she had said her husband was Greek. Now you start putting together her excitement for anal sex being illegal in Georgia and her husband being Greek. We'll sum that up for you at the end of the story. However, at that point, she's chugging the beer, she's putting her hair up, she's getting friendly with Lee. To make a long story short, even though we're already 16 minutes into the story, I leaned over to Lee's left ear and said, Leevis, you know she's a hooker, right? And he didn't turn to look at me. He looked straight.
Right at my solo cup.
His eyes lit up a little bit, and it was just like magic, like something just sparked. And all of a sudden, it wasn't fear, it was more anger.
It just made sense.
That he did not actually pick up on it.
Yes.
But
yes.
She was playing her game well.
Yes.
I was far enough away that I had a outside view. Leevis only had an inside view because he was right there at the brunt of the line. So
wait, at the brunt of the line?
At the front. There wouldn't be a show without that. Hold on.
There we go.
Bad grammar for J-Dog. Thank you very much. So
maybe the grunt of the line.
So what we found out after all of this camaraderie with our new friend, how old she was. Oh, we didn't tell the driver's license part of it.
Yeah.
That she showed us her driver's license to prove she was 27.
Yeah, this was part of the awkward conversation.
But before she showed us that one, she showed us her old driver's license where she was still underage.
Yes.
And she still had it.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
It was.
So maybe when the cops catch her, she pulls that one out and says, I'm a minor.
Yeah, I don't
Take
know.
me home to my parents. You can't arrest me. I don't know. I don't know why she'd have both.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me either. And, when you're... It's not... I mean, it's mildly awkward if somebody shows you their driver's license without being solicited.
Yes.
But it's really awkward when they show you their driver's license from 10 years prior without being solicited.
Exactly. So we summed it up after all was said and done, and she wrapped up the evening after chugging her beer and putting her hair up by walking out the door and saying, "Have a wonderful night, guys," and gave us each a kiss on the cheek and walked out the door.
Yep.
At that point, it was quite apparent that Leevis had been attempted to be hooked.
Yes. Yes.
And I was very grateful for that.
Man.
The only scary part about it for me is when Leevis decided to tell his wife the story, that I was afraid she would come back and say, well, how did Jim know so quickly she was a hooker? And then I'd have to answer to that.
Right.
So, yes.
No, you were in the clear.
So, going Greek, we did not learn that from Michael Allen Gould. We learned it from
the Urban Dictionary, because we had to look it up later.
Who gave you the idea, though?
Oh, yeah.
Very good friend of the show.
That's right. So I was retelling the story later because, it was my first hooking, so I had to go through it a few times, try and remember the details and, figure out what went wrong or what went very right, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, so I had told the story for at least the third time, and finally Asian Matt of J-Dog and Leevis fame said, "You do know what going Greek means?" And we're like, "No." And I would have, if I was there, I'd have said the same thing. Yeah. Never heard it. And I hadn't heard it, and then later, then he explained it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and apparently it's a reference on Archer, if you've ever watched that show. My cousin figured out what it was through that reference, but yeah, I'm like, Asian Matt, come on, how long have you known this? And he's like, I don't know, since like junior high. I'm like, really? Of course he did. We didn't talk about that stuff at junior high. Well, I'm going to pull up Urban Dictionary right now. And let me get to the one here. There's actually a couple of different terms. I was laughing at, because as you were typing in, one of the other Urban Dictionary ones was going green butt wipe, which I'm really interested in. See? Going green butt wipe. I see it. Going green butt wipe. We're going to teach Michael Allen Gould a thing or two. Yes, we are. Next week. That's what we should do. We should call him and give him an Urban Dictionary update.
So it wasn't the first one. Although it did say, I don't remember the exact term that you have to type in Urban Dictionary, but what it referred to was common terms used by prostitutes to refer to the fact that they do anal sex. So if you mention anything about Greek,
they know.
And when anal sex came up in our conversation, her husband was Greek. Right over our heads. That one went over my head.
Apparently we don't hang out with prostitutes
I am
enough.
not that experienced with... I'm not.
Yeah, whatever. You're a man of the world.
Does Germany count?
What happened in Germany stays in Germany, I think.
Well, I haven't gotten any papers yet, so. Or any calls from a child named Gutenberg or Hans
or Schmutzenberg.
Well, maybe Parvin is my long lost.
That would
son.
explain a lot. Yeah,
Parvin Wallace Schmutzenberg.
Yeah, that would he's got your hair.
Yeah.
So.
So Lee got hooked.
A very educational weekend.
I keep saying that he didn't get hooked. He was.
I did not.
He was an attempted hook.
Yes.
So the hook actually did not happen.
What I was a complete waste of time.
I wouldn't say complete waste of time. She got a beer.
She did get a beer.
She got a PBR.
She got a $2 beer full of salt.
Oh, PBR.
But, I was thinking about this later. I wish if I had recognized the situation for what it was, then I'm really kind of curious as to what would have happened. Or how do you tell a hooker that she's a hooker? How do you bring that up? How do you say, time out, listen, we're done with the game. This isn't going to happen. So if you want to go and make it happen somewhere else, then that's fine. But if you want to hang out and, I'll buy you another $2 beer and we can talk about how you ended up here in Genoa days on a weeknight, and how you thought this was going to be profitable. I am just absolutely curious about...
Maybe that's what we don't know. Maybe it's a wonderful night to do it.
I don't know. I am genuinely curious about what series of events led to that situation.
And I could have probably had that conversation as well, deep into the evening to find out.
Yeah, it would have
the mystery of the hooker mind.
And it's just afterwards. Way afterwards, once we figured out what was going on, and by we I mean me. You figured it out before I did. Then it just feels like a missed opportunity. Because you are gonna. Well, I don't know. Maybe we should hang out more often. And do that. But or I don't know. I guess I'm more curious about how she ended up here more than I am how is it that I look like a mark? But although if the conversation went long enough, I would like to know that.
Well, we've talked about your eyes before.
Yes, but my eyes don't say bling. They don't say, I've got money.
I'm almost thinking this would have been more of a charity thing. She saw the eyes and she was going to give you a real big discount because she was in it for her. This wasn't about the money.
Yeah, because I do that.
She got a dead-on look of those eyes.
Yeah, we're going all Pretty Woman here. That's what's going on.
Superpower.
Well, that explains, why I was the mark and you weren't. Yeah,
so
clearly.
Next time a pretty young girl comes into a bar and they slap $40 in front of you and they say, my husband's Greek, you'll know that they're paying you.
Yeah, okay, got it.
And what they're paying you for. So if anything, she gave us 23 minutes of conversation.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you very much. And I believe her name was?
Oh, yeah.
She only gave us her first name.
Her quote, name, unquote.
Was Kimberly.
Which I only remember because...
I know her as Kimber Leevis.
Oh, I was going to say Jimberly.
Or it could have been Jimber Leevis. Oh, goodness. So, Genoa Days has everything to offer.
I don't think
I mean, you got the Ferris wheel. That's fantastic. And then you got the zero gravity ride, which makes everybody throw up. So you got one of those.
Yes.
You got the bars all over.
Right, which make people throw up,
You got Corner Grill with gigantic burgers.
Which makes people throw up.
And you got the goldfish game.
Yeah.
Which is classic. We still have our goldfish from a year ago.
Right.
And you got hookers. What more do you want from a Main Street carnival than that? My gosh, a little something for everybody. A little something for everyone. So
Yeah, and unfortunately, I had loaded up at the corner grill, so I was done before Jimberly didn't even have a chance.
he had nothing left in him. He had no energy.
No, I
left.
had way too much in me already. Is what it was.
The problem was she didn't. She didn't have any of Leevis in her.
I think she wanted a little less conversation.
Little less conversation. Yeah, that was interesting. And then I had been told before that hookers that have graced the Genoa area use the trick of wearing a wedding ring. For the simple reason that it just gives the guy that's going to do the deed a feeling that it's a challenge.
Okay.
So,
like he's doing something even wrong, or
right. I'm with a married woman, so who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe she had a Greek husband. Maybe she frequents skis. Maybe her parents live in Sycamore. Maybe she drinks salt in her bottled beer.
And you see, we'll never know,
And
because we didn't figure it out soon enough.
And perhaps she kisses every man's cheek that she runs into.
I think she does.
If you put it all together, she's not that bad of a person.
Well,
She's just a hooker.
we don't know. We don't know.
So next time this happens, I will push Leevis further so we can test the waters. Actually, there was a way, and I think Asian Matt told you, the two different ways that you can end the conversation or find out for sure if she's
Yes,
a hooker.
well, yes, and so that was also a topic for discussion. Was how would you bring this up? The gig is up. How would you say this? So on one hand, one friend said, just say you're a cop.
Just come out and say it.
Yeah, just come out
I'm a
and say I'm a cop, and then see what the reaction is.
Right.
So,
But that's no fun.
well, that certainly wouldn't.
It just ends. It's over,
Yeah.
and she gets up and leaves, and
Right. That's kind of the way I would see it. And I'm just curious by nature, I guess.
okay,
Not curious enough to bag a hooker, and but
bag a hook.
but I would have a conversation with one. So, but then the other one, the other thought was to grab her boob
Yep.
and then see how she reacts.
Yep.
Because a normal woman would react completely differently than a hooker.
Correct.
So I suspect that's true. So
So-
and the other thought of that was that cops are not allowed to grab boobs.
Right.
So therefore
It
she
would
knows
give her
that,
the okay
yes.
that he's not a cop. Now, what wound up happening is Leevis was confused, so he reached over and just grabbed my boob.
Yeah, which
And-
it's an honest mistake, really.
I didn't mind, but I think she understood what was going on at that point, so that's why she had him buy the second beer
She probably needed
because
it
of the way I reacted.
to stomach us for another 10 minutes or whatever.
Just like the
So-
fans of the show.
You can do it. Hang in there.
So, Jimberly, if you're out there,
Yeah.
thank you for a wonderful, wonderful time
Yes.
at Hillstown.
In conversation, we will be wondering about your future for quite a while.
Yes, we will.
So
So what I'm saying is,
go ahead.
let's. There was just something crawling on me. No, I'll have you know, North Brown Studios is in the basement, and there was totally something just crawling on me, and I knocked it off my neck, and I don't know what it was. Was it her?
Probably.
She's under the
I think
desk.
so. It's probably
What are you doing?
somebody
Get out
probably
there.
just salted the back of your neck.
Oh my lord, that was weird. You didn't see it coming down. Now I'm probably going to turn into Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think so. I
It was
hope
a
so.
radioactive spider, wasn't it? That was weird.
Can I, if I know that it's happening, can I ask you questions about it?
You can.
Be like, I knew
Okay.
J-Dog before he had mystical superpowers, before he formally mutated. Maybe
Yes.
I'll just say that. So, but what I wanted to say was, my beloved Belvedere and your Genoa have something new in common.
New
Yes.
and in common.
Yes. Care to guess? Have you been watching the news at all? You probably didn't notice because it was Belvedere news, but we are actually a step behind Genoa on something. You beat us on this one.
That's impossible.
It really happened. You are going to be amazed when I tell you.
Is it just the fact that we have... I don't know.
We had a bank robbery.
Ah, yes, I did see that, and this picture of the guy was better than the one Genoa had.
Yes, it's the same guy.
Yes, it's the same exact guy
So-
who kind of looks like me.
Kind of, yeah.
I could definitely be in the lineup.
Yes, you could.
No, I did.
So-
I did see that, and I had said before this guy robbed the bank in Genoa probably 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
And every picture, they had 5 different pictures of him, and all of them were like on my cell phone from like 1995.
They're black and green.
Like 0.6 megapixel or something. It's like, what are we doing? It's a bank. Why do I have the technology on my phone that you don't have on these cameras?
It was dark. Didn't it happen at like noon or something?
It was like in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And the guy didn't have a mask.
No.
He didn't have anything. He didn't even brandish a gun.
He had
I
a
don't believe.
baseball cap.
Yeah, a baseball cap on.
Yeah.
And he had a beard, and he just walked in and said, "Give me the money."
Yep.
But I don't think he ever actually showed the gun. He just said he had one.
I haven't gotten that impression either.
So he just got money and walked out of the Genoa bank, and they never caught him.
Yep. Well,
Because they were all horrible. But now this picture came out.
Yes,
And it was like a picture. The camera was like in the desk.
Yes.
Like between him and the teller. It was
Yes.
pointed up at his face,
I-
which is pretty ingenious.
I frequent this bank also, and I remember when they put those in, because as a normal citizen, it's a little unnerving to have this camera pointing at you, basically at cell phone distance.
Right.
You know, it's right there. You know, and
but still not high definition.
oh, it's pretty good.
You can see what the guy looks like, but it's still not like if I had my camera phone sitting there. I just wish they had better. If you're going to spend money on cameras, buy high definition technology. We have it everywhere. This little camera phone, this little lens in my phone is better than what they have in banks. But we did get a better view of him.
Yes.
So you know it's the same guy. You can tell by the
Yes.
outfit he wore in Genoa in there. But hasn't he done like 3 other robberies too or something?
I don't know. I just know that I was like, oh, that's that guy. And it's the bank that's 3 blocks from my house.
Right.
So, like you, I was, 3 blocks away from a bank robbery.
Right.
So that's pretty
That is pretty
exciting.
pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And
nobody was hurt.
I kind of
so-
hope they don't catch him. Because it's just
because
it's all in fun.
You hope he doesn't catch him, because it's the Dukes of Hazzard factor. Because this guy supposedly drives a '97 Buick
Oh yeah, there was a picture of the
Skylark
car
or
too.
LeSabre or something like
There
that.
was a
It's
picture
like-
of the car too.
It's like a '97 LeSabre.
So he's obviously not getting that much money. He's got to make his payment on his
We're-
'97 LeSabre.
We're kind of rooting for the underdog on this one.
He signed up for 47 tough payments, or no, 47 easy payments, and 3 tough ones.
Right
to
at
get to
the
50.
end.
3 tough ones. So those tough ones came up, and he had to knock off a bank. Give me all your quarters. So yeah, that is interesting. I did see that, and I kind of hope they don't catch him because he's not hurting anyone. It's kind of fun just to see
It does set a bad precedence.
just to see how easy it is to rob a bank. You don't need a mask. Just walk in at noon and say, I got a gun in my pocket, give me some money.
See, and you know,
And then you just go to McDonald's afterwards.
honestly, I didn't even know that. I knew that building was a bank, but I didn't. But I have never done banking there. Let me put it that way. You know, they because 2 blocks away from that is a drive-through, and this bank, I don't think it does have a drive-through. But anyway, the other location is drive-through only. So I just assumed that the other bank would, unless you're like getting a loan, would be like go to the drive-through place.
Right.
And so I didn't even know that you could go in there and like actually talk to a teller, but I learned something.
You did.
So, yeah. But yeah, I have some friends that work there, so I'm glad that
Another learning experience.
things worked out well.
That's 2. That's 2.
That's right. We're an educational show tonight.
We're learning all of this stuff in groves.
That doesn't count.
No, it does not. So yeah, that leads us through last week, and this week we're
Yeah, what do you got coming up?
creeping up this weekend on Father's Day,
Yes,
which we are both daddies.
that's true.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see just how appreciative our kids are.
Are you going to
and
become another daddy?
I'm thinking of maybe doing that this weekend.
Okay.
So maybe see what I can do.
We can check out skis.
Whether it's a son or daughter. Whether it's a son or daughter. Do you know the day you were made? Father's Day. It was my day. Yeah, we could go to skis in Sycamore. I mean, I don't ever have to meet the child. Just be a father.
Yeah, it doesn't say good father.
So, yeah, Father's Day is coming up. We're gonna go to a campground a couple days,
Okay.
hang out.
Mm-hmm.
Parvin Schmutzenberg is going to be there
Nice.
with his lovely bride, and his family.
He's a father, too.
He is a father, twice that I know of.
Yes.
Twice that I know of.
Twice on the books.
Travels abroad could have meant something different, or travels with abroad, one of the way or another. And yeah, we'll be doing some rock climbing.
Really?
Well, it's just like a couple of rocks piled on top of each other, and you step over them.
That counts as
But
rock climbing.
It's still rock climbing, and there's actually a guided trail and everything. It's
Okay.
Devil's Lake. You ever heard of Devil's Lake?
Yes. Yeah. I was thinking of doing some rock climbing too. I don't think it's going to work out, but
I'm thinking Devil's Lake is back in the day,
Mhm.
maybe 20 years ago. Used to frequent there all the time, and it wasn't nearly as busy as it is today.
Okay.
In the last 20 years, anyone that comes to Wisconsin goes to Devil's Lake.
yeah.
So
yeah,
a
I
lot
think
of
you're
foreigners, a lot of travelers, parking lots packed during the day.
Oh.
So it's starting to become a destination of
Maybe when you
aggravation.
when you were younger, you didn't go on the big holiday days.
Well, and also I didn't have families and kids and other things to worry about. It was just
Right.
me and some friends, and we just ran up the mountain.
Yep. Yep.
Well, we call it a mountain.
Well,
When
Wisconsin mountain.
When you live in Illinois and you see Devil's Lake, that's a mountain.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's probably what it is now. There's just more to think about. You know, they got to have their suntan lotion on. We got to make sure they have bug spray on. You got to make sure they have their parkas on, or whatever it is to protect them from the elements.
Do they make like SPF 50 bug spray?
I don't know.
And why don't they?
I usually just layer one under another.
Yeah.
So,
Why?
but yeah, if they had SPF 1000, I'd put it on. I have no desire to be tan.
That's for vampires.
I don't need it. But then, you know, you'll get my wife out there and she'll put on like negative 25.
Right. Rubbing
That
on
actually
the
draws,
Johnson & Johnson
draws
baby
the
oil.
vitamin D in. So, but yeah, she likes the tanning. So yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a little camping. We might even, if at all possible,
Did you say you're doing camping?
camping.
Camping? Just making sure. Just... I hadn't
Keep me in check.
I hadn't noticed camping before, but it's very Illinois to go camping.
Or camping.
Oh yeah, you can cut the end
Camping.
off. Mhm.
Camping.
You can put them together. Camping.
Well, it's more RVing than camping. There's a
Yeah.
difference. There's a difference.
When I tell people that you're going camping, I usually have to use air quotes because what
Like I
J-
use my air conditioner while we're
yes,
sleeping.
what J Dog does is not just traditional camping. Let me put it that way.
Well, the nice thing is
There is a campfire. I'll give you that.
Most people we camp with camp in tents, and we
Mhm.
pull up in the RV, we plug it in, and we get everything going. And then at night, when it's 82 degrees and they're laid in their tents, I'm just as annoyed as they are because I have to get up at least once a night to turn the air down a little bit
Oh, yeah,
'Cause
yeah, that's,
it
I
gets
don't
a
know how you
little
do
stuffy
that.
in there. So,
I would just drive home after that point.
but yeah, the nice thing about the RV is you don't think about weather. You make
Right.
plans and you go.
Sure.
So that's one reason we invest in it. But I slept on the ground for a good 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started out sleeping without even a mattress or anything, just on the ground when I first started camping.
Yeah, okay.
And it was fine.
Okay, Davy Crockett.
Well, Davy Crockett. So I then, after a good couple of years of that, I moved up to the Thermarest. Are you familiar with the
Yes.
Thermarest?
Yeah.
This
That
was
makes sense.
given to me by some good friends that we used to camp with, and it's an inflatable mattress that inflates to about 1.5 inches full of air,
Mhm.
but it's light enough to put on your backpack, and when you open it, it self-inflates.
Sure.
When you're done with it, you roll it up, and it pushes the air out, and you close the valve.
Mm-hmm.
So I slept on one of those, and I was super comfy. I couldn't believe all the comfort I was missing by not sleeping on this 1.5 inch air mattress. So I did that for about 2 years. Then I moved up to the standard Walmart $29.95 queen size air mattress.
There you go.
And you get the big, loud, annoying pump, and when you show
Mhm.
up to the campground at 10:30 at night and you have your headlights on setting up camp, you got that going and everybody hates you.
Mhm.
So then I slept on that for a while, but then that was always, it would leak air, or it would, in the morning you'd be on the ground.
Yeah, that makes for a long trip.
So I said, you know what, we're just going to get the deluxe one. So we bought the double-decker Walmart air mattress for $59.95. It was just twice as tall.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're seeing here is I have gone from the ground to 1.5 inches to 6 inches. Now I'm up to 12 inches off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And this was probably right when my first daughter was born. We're going to look back maybe 10, 11 years ago. So now I'm 12 inches off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved up to, we skipped the pop-up. Skipped the pop-up
What?
altogether. No
That's
pop-ups.
like an evolutionary
And
leap.
I'm so glad I did. I don't know anyone that likes their pop-up. So I moved into what they call a hybrid camper.
Okay.
So it has fold-out beds on the side like a pop-up trailer,
Mhm.
but the rest of it is all enclosed. So you still have a full trailer with fold-out beds.
I see.
You don't have to extend it up. So now,
Gotcha.
and I actually measured, my bed was 36 inches off the ground. So I am now up to 36 inches off the ground. And we slept in that for 6 years. Well, now we went out and bought the Taj Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
We have the full 32-foot RV that we tow behind us, and I am now a full 48 inches off the ground.
Thank goodness.
Well, no, actually, I take that back. It's probably about 50 because we bought a mattress pad.
Yes. Yeah. And you have the thermal light thing.
So, yes.
You know.
So the way that you gauge your camping is you get off of the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're off the ground, your experience is much better.
It
does help to have a toilet right 10 feet away from you, too, in the middle of the night. And the fridge and the stove. And
I can see like the Neanderthal evolutionary chart, that just sort of starts on the ground and then moves up.
Should definitely invest in creating that. The evolution of camping. Because I think that would be a T-shirt that would sell.
Yeah, probably.
Not as well as the J-Dog and Leevis T-shirt.
Well, yeah. It's hard to outsell the... No, it's not.
Oh, by the way, Terry, because obviously you're listening, I need a picture of you with the T-shirt on.
Yes.
I haven't gotten one yet. And it's not for the show. I just need a picture of you with the T-shirt on.
I was going to say, you're our poster girl, Terry.
Because we sent you one size too small for a reason. Please get us that picture as soon as possible. Oh, and say hi to your husband. So yeah, get us that picture because we want to post it on the Facebook page and show people that there are people that do listen to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'd be good.
She's here because we're subtle.
Yeah, she is.
She likes guys with a little mystery. So
unlike Jimberly,
right?
There was no mystery that night. It was just two guys hanging out at the bar.
There. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's coming up this weekend, and then I think it's next weekend after that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that?
Well, I don't want to talk about it because I'm jealous.
Oh.
But go ahead. Tell everybody else.
Oh, well...
I'm not listening.
No, I'm leaving again.
Yeah.
I'm going to Michigan.
Right.
But that's not what I was going to say.
Oh.
But I'll take the floor. I haven't been talking much tonight, so... Yes, going to Michigan to see our good friends that live just outside of Flint, Michigan. I did inform them that... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, isn't most of Michigan outside of Flint, Michigan?
Pretty much all of Michigan is outside of Flint, Michigan. But they're right outside of Flint, Michigan.
I see.
So we all know what happened with, the lead in the water and everything. So I had already sent an email saying that their kids were not to be within 10 feet of our children the whole trip. Because I don't want lead poisoning for my kids.
Yeah,
I mean, we can play, badminton and volleyball because that's generally 10 feet apart. Mm-hmm. If we're at the lakefront, you got plenty of beach there. You can throw the football back and forth, but just, keep the radioactive children back.
I see. So you're okay with communing with nature, just not the heavy metals.
Just not the heavy metals.
Yeah.
Unlike Michael Allen Gould gets together with the heavy metals all the time. So yeah, we're going to go up there. Traverse City is the area that we go. Mm-hmm. Absolutely beautiful this year. However,
lovely.
If I can describe Traverse City, it's a large town, but there's two main bays that dip down like a set of testicles into Michigan. That's the best way to describe it. When you show the mitten, here's the testicles. So these two bays dip down in, and right up the middle of the bays...
It's like a cupped hand.
And we are at the bottom of the East Bay, cupping it all down there, taking it all, enjoying everything that Traverse City has to throw at us. So
you've just alienated all of Michigan. We included them as being outside of Flint, and now, you've just...
And now we're going somewhere where Lake Michigan rests its testicles on top of the land where we're going to be camping. Well, if you look at the map, the way Lake Michigan is positioned, they're right where they would be, these two bays. So take a look at the map and look at Traverse City. Now, granted, they would be small in the ratio of the giant Lake Michigan member. But yeah, that's where we are. We're right at the base of the scrotum. So there's an east scrotum and there's a west scrotum.
Speaking of shirts that need to be made...
Oh, I camped at East Scrotum, Michigan. So yeah, we camp on the East Bay. However, the West Bay had some problems last week.
Okay,
some serious problems.
Children full of lead
came out in the news. No, They kept all those in Flint.
Okay.
Except for the few that we're going to be encountering. But we've already taken care of that.
All
We've
right.
already addressed that situation.
Yes.
But the West Bay had 3,000 gallons of raw sewage somehow in a busted pipe leak into the bay.
Oh.
That's 100 campers with 30-gallon tanks full to the brim, letting it go into the West Bay. Now, the West Bay is enormous. I mean, when you think of these two bays, the peninsula up the middle of the scrotum, I can't stop thinking about the scrotum, is 17 miles long. So each bay comes down the side of that peninsula.
Gotcha.
So we felt pretty safe because that poo would have to travel 17 miles north, make the curve, and then sink back down.
Sure.
To hit the East Bay.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't too worried about the poo affecting us. What I was worried about was the West Bay has bigger beaches. Now everybody's going to be on our beach. And there's not going to be anywhere to go. But Michigan knows how to handle their water problems. Because 3 days later, they lifted the ban and everybody could go back in the water. So when we get up there, it should be fine.
Sure.
But the best part that came of all of this, when they showed a picture of the West Bay, they were trying to show the empty beach and how weird it looked because this time of year it's always packed.
Sure.
So they showed a picture and there was a sign that said beach quarantine closed till further notice and the beach behind it. But what the photographer captured was one paddleboarder on the water.
Who just wasn't going to give up.
He didn't give a poo. He didn't care. You can do whatever you want to this water. I'm paddleboarding. You know,
I'm not in it.
I just hope we hosed down that panel when he was done.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
So 3,000 gallons sounds like a lot, but it is a huge bay, so I'm pretty sure it's all dissipated and gone, and we probably have a few belly-up fish,
Yeah.
and we'll move on. And
Well, and you know, if it's organic,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm thinking
It may
it's,
be a little heavy, but it
when you're
should-
thinking raw sewage, though,
yeah.
it's more than just poo.
But
It's probably that. You don't know
Well,
what
and
people
does
dump
that-
down their toilets.
Does that
and-
screw up like the? I mean, because we have like the algae blooms and stuff like that, and I wonder how much. And I thought that was because of the temperature, but they've got to eat something, so you know
Right.
that screws things up too. So I don't know. We need to phone in a biologist at some point.
I think, yeah, we could do that. Because I know like 4 or 5.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you were well connected in
Or
the.
4 or 5 people would probably want to be biologists. But yeah, so we should be safe in the East Bay, so that'll be a good trip. And while I'm gone, Leevis is going to be attending an event as well that weekend.
Yes.
Coming up soon.
Yeah.
That has
yeah.
to do with the Power Combat Fitness Gym
And-
in Belvedere.
Yes. So the gym that I frequent and whatever else you would call that is hosting an obstacle course. Yes. Well dinged.
Been waiting all night for that.
And so it's in Spencer Park in Belvedere. It is it Saturday the 25th?
I believe
think
so.
I know it's Saturday. I just can't remember if it's the 25th or not, but I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
And outdoors, rain or shine. It's close to 5 miles. I think it's just under 5 miles. There's over 20 obstacles. They are hard, but they're not impossible. And it's a good event to have a buddy, you know, to run around with. But it should be the first one was last year, and it was a lot of fun. And this year should be exactly the same, if not better, as far as.
So is this being
the fun
labeled
factor.
as Grit Fit 2?
No, the first one
First year
was
or-
well. Next weekend is Heritage Days. So
Okay.
the race last year was like the Heritage Days 5K or something like that. That just happened to be, you know, running through water and through tires and stuff like that. But
Okay.
but this year is the first official Grit Fit, and hopefully we build off of this and make a really solid event. We've got we had a lot of cooperation from the guys that do the Abominable Snow Race in
Right.
the winter. So that was out in the suburbs.
Which is a very cool race because you get to carry logs around.
yes. There's a log carry.
There is a picture of Leevis on the internet carrying a log during this race in the snow, and it's fantastic.
It's nice because you pretty much can't look can't not look manly carrying a log, and it's just you and the photographer. You know what's coming, so you get to put on the brawny look and everything.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that was fun, and those guys that run that have been really cool about helping us, and I think if we're not outright borrowing some of their obstacles, we're renting them or at least stealing the idea from
Right.
some of them. So yeah, I haven't seen the course yet, but it should be longer than last year, and I'm excited. It'll be cool.
I will give that a challenge next year.
You should. If it's a
And-
weekend that you're around, you would enjoy it.
The only reason I say that is because I've gotten away from the fitness.
Ugh.
Yes,
Are
I
you-
have.
Are you in the valley?
I am in the valley.
Okay.
I was at the top of my game, running half marathons.
Yeah.
I ran 3 in 1 year, about 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But then I had this mental block that said, "All right, you did it,"
Right.
and I didn't change. I didn't do the lifestyle change. I
Right.
just accomplished a goal, and then came back down to reality.
Well, and yeah, the problem with running is that as soon as something hurts,
Yeah.
then it's not quite as
Well, I
fun.
use a lot of excuses too.
Yeah.
My family hates me. I think that was one.
I'm going to run from them.
I'm going to run from them. There's lots of excuses. But I have now rejoined a gym called Cross Kicks in Algonquin, Illinois.
Is Kicks with an X?
No, it is not.
Oh,
Should
okay.
be.
I would have guessed.
Should be.
I did guess.
I was in a band that ended in X once.
Oh yeah.
It was well,
I had a drug
No.
that ended in X. No.
I'll just spell it for you. It was PHUX.
Oh, I see.
So it was the PHUX.
Uh-huh.
And
Fuchs.
no. No, PH sounds like F. and we had a hit song called Mudslide.
Of course you did.
Ride, ride the mudslide, ride deep inside. I think that was the lyrics. Good friend Doug was singing that.
I
yeah,
can't
that was
believe
a-
I didn't hear that on the radio.
I think we played 2 shows in my parents' garage.
Perfect.
So that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But no, Cross Kicks ends with a KICKS.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically PCF. It's just geared a little bit more towards time management,
Mhm.
where you can just walk in and start because there's a clock always going, and
Right.
then you just leave. So there's not class times, which I kind of like, but I also like doing class environment as well.
Right.
It's kind of motivating. You get
Right.
people having to do the same thing as you.
Yep.
But today I walked in and there was one other gentleman doing the same thing as me, and we got there at the same time, so we actually went through it together.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of cool. The last 3 times I went there, I was by myself.
Yeah. Did you beat him? Yeah.
I kept up with him
All right.
about halfway till this
Then
guy.
You're
this
gonna
guy-
have to keep going.
His name is Tony, the guy that owns the place and runs it.
Mhm.
For some reason, he really likes the medicine ball.
Okay.
He likes you throwing it up high against the wall and
I see.
slamming it on the floor and running around with it over your head. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna show him what I think of that ball pretty soon. But yeah, so it was much more motivating doing it with someone. So
Just
I-
pretend you're carrying the Bay of Lake Michigan
Is that
over
what
your
it
head.
is? And I'll hold the East Bay for now because the West Bay's a little bigger.
Yes, exactly.
Holds more. Oh, maybe I'll just drive up to the tip of that 17-mile peninsula this year and just give it the old snip and make sure the bays are safe from now on. Oh, so yeah, I'm trying to do this to get into shape thing. I've been sweating my butt off the past few times I've been there, and I want to start doing runs again, and maybe because I've done the Warrior Dash before.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. They're fun.
You should do this. You should do the Great Fit.
I think I would like to do it.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
And-
I will. Oh, go ahead.
You would get a T-shirt that I designed.
Well, I already have a few of those.
Yes, but not that say
Which
none
we-
that say Grit Fit.
Which we do need to come up with another challenge to give out a T-shirt.
Yes.
We're gonna have to come up with something.
That'd
I know
be
we had
cool.
some other ideas, but we got to definitely solidify something for the next show. Because apparently the only one out there running around with one now is Terry, and she's not letting us know. Did I mention that, Terry? Did I mention that? So,
We love you, Terry.
yeah, just one other.
Don't let Jim get you down.
How could I do that?
You can't.
J-Dog and Leevis show get you down. That's a grammar error right there.
All right, fair enough.
So yeah, just one other shout out, and the reason we're going to do this is we met a lovely young couple in Mini Han's bar this weekend on the night that Genoa Days was closing down.
Yes.
Which is amazing because this whole carnival literally is gone in 2 hours from the time they start backing up trucks and tearing it down.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
weird. It takes 3 days to set up and 2 hours to shut down.
I think they drive all the carnival attractions like down to side streets so that you can't see what's going on.
It's possible. It's possible. I
That-
think
that's my theory.
I think the carnies just sleep under the rides. So they're just ready to go, raring to go.
Like junkyard dogs. Chained.
Oh, which, by the way, just a quick interjection. There was one carny, as my daughter got on the Arabian Night 1001 Nights ride, which is the one where you're facing forward, but it goes to the side and goes in a big, like a pendulum in a big circle, but you're facing forward the whole time, so you're going to the side. And then it goes the other way and you go to the light. So you're just going around like a clock, facing forward.
You're waxing on and then waxing off.
Exactly. And I would never do it because
Yeah.
the poor little 4-year-old next to me would just have puke all over him. So we're watching my daughter. But before she got on, she sits down and they lock the bars. And they say, check your bars, make sure they're locked. And as the guy's saying that, another carny comes over, looks up at him and says, if you ever effing do that again, I'm going to kick your ASS. Really loud, and walks away. And I'm like, can you just leave him alone for a minute? My daughter's on the ride.
For checking
He only
the-
has to concentrate on one thing, pushing one of those two buttons. Don't distract him. Because if he was sleeping under the ride, he probably didn't get a good night's sleep last night.
So what do you think that was
Just
about?
right in front of everybody. I have no idea what it was about.
I think it was about the safety check.
Maybe?
Maybe I think that's against their rules.
Maybe, and maybe he didn't. And
You have to have a complete, disrespect for life to be a carny.
only 2 kids flew off the ride that round.
See?
I mean, normally there's like 6 or 7 going all directions. One hitting the zipper, one over landing on the fun machine, and one smacking and knocking down Kimberly on the sidewalk. So. Which maybe that just made her really angry and made her more motivated. But yeah, I just want to throw that in there. But we did meet a very lovely couple by the names of Mark and Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And they came into Minihans just to hang out. And Mark happened to play harmonica
Yep.
rather well.
Yep. That was great.
So I was playing the skins. Leevis was playing the 10-string gilly. I said it again.
You did.
The 6-string gilly with 10 fingers. And Mark joined in. It was a lot of fun. And then we got to talking to them, and we found out that she owns Ivy Impressions Photography.
Yes.
In Genoa.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to at least give out their address so you can check them out. And it's actually www.ivyimpressions.com, and it's spelled IVYIMPRESSIONS. All one word. www.ivyimpressions.com.
Yes.
So if you're looking for a local photographer in the Genoa, Sycamore, possibly even DeKalb area, she has a lot to offer, and you can see a lot of her photos on there and what she's done.
Her stuff on Facebook is fantastic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, because there is a Facebook page. You can search for Ivy
Yes.
Impressions on Facebook as well. And she's been doing it for a long time, and we got to know her.
Yeah, and very personable. Very
Absolutely.
I can't imagine that she would, be difficult to work with.
Not
as
at
far
all.
as photography goes.
Well, let me just give you this, because I came right out, because,
Because you do
I
that.
throw it out there.
Yes, you do.
And I said, has there ever been a child that you had to take pictures of that you thought, man, that is one ugly kid? And you know how she responded? Do you remember?
I thought what she said was...
You don't remember because you were
Yeah,
talking.
no,
You were
wait.
talking to Kimberly.
She she said, "Ugly kids, no. Ugly parents, absolutely."
Yes, that was part of it. And she said,
No, that's not what she
if
said.
the kid is smiling, it's impossible for them to be ugly.
See, yeah, that means it's the right person.
And that's
for
when
the
I
right
crawled
job.
back in the corner and curled up in the fetal position, and Lee just beat me with a whip. So yes, she's a great person, and if you need any of that, go check her out on Facebook. Check her out on her website, and she does wonderful work. So, that being said, we are now moving into the 1 hour mark of our show, and tonight we are only going to be doing a half-hour show. Twice. So it turned out. Kimberly got us
Well,
going.
I was going to say, if you don't listen to the first half, then you can hear it all again in the second half.
That's right.
So
Yes, you can.
that's the benefit of doing 2 half-hour shows that are exactly the same.
So now the 6-string gilly is underneath Leevis's 10 fingers, and it's coming at you. Well, we did talk to you a little bit about what's going on this weekend, the next weekend, and the weekend after that, which means we're not going to be around the next 2 Thursdays.
Oh,
Yeah. There's not going to be a show for the next 2 Thursdays. I guess because we have lives.
Somehow.
I didn't want to believe I had a life outside the show, but it turns out I do.
It's rare,
Yeah.
but, we'll give you a couple in the
It is.
summer.
So while I'm up in Michigan and I'm sitting around the campfire and I'm drinking my cranberry and Malibu rum with my good friend who is going to be the next president of the United States. His name is Jeb.
I hear he's got at least one vote.
He does. I'm writing him in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing him in. This man is about 6'4", full of muscle, and hell of a kisser. Hell of a kisser. Yeah, he has all the right ideas. When I ask him about politics, he hands me another drink. We like to call him the enabler. If you hold your hand up behind your head, you'll be handed a drink. That's what Michigan's all about. So that's what I'll be doing up there. So yes, the next 2 Thursdays, no show. No show. Unless somehow or another this weekend, Leevis can find his way for a couple of hours during the day to get to Wisconsin. You may possibly, and this is no promise, have a remote broadcast with Leevis, J-Dog, and Parvin Schmutzenberg. I'm praying for this moment to happen. Live from Wisconsin.
I love it when you make me the weak link.
Well, I'm not the weak link.
No.
I'm the one with the camper. I just turn on the air conditioning.
And all the sound equipment.
Or do you turn down the air conditioning? Do you turn it down or do you turn it up?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I'm not going to think about that much tonight, though.
You got Jimberly on the mind?
Jimberly on the mind. So, yes, no shows for next Thursdays, but when we come back, we're going to have a show after the July 4th, which I believe is Monday, so that would be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I believe.
Wow.
And we'll see what we're going to do for that, but on July 14th is when Alex, the beer man, will be coming back for his summer brew review. No more emergencies, no more ex-girlfriends from out of town. He will be here and give us a little bit lighter fare than he gave us last time. No more wombat juice going down Leevis's throat, no more gagging. This should be a much lighter fare of summer brews.
I'll believe it when I taste it.
And hopefully we will have Seamus O'Leary calling in and ridiculing him for the pomegranate beer that I believe he has found, as he dug very deeply to find. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, here on the J-Dog and Leevis Show, we'd like to give you a little more information on how you can reach us. Of course, if you're listening to us now, you're probably going most likely through Spreaker.com, and you can always reach us at www.spreaker.com/J-Dog and Leevis. You can also search for us on iTunes by typing in J-Dog and Leevis in the search bar. You can also find us on YouTube by typing in J-Dog and Leevis on the search bar. One other very popular podcast site is Blueberry.com, which is spelled B-L-U-B-R-R-Y. They are a hosting site and have tons of good shows to listen to. You can search for us on there as well. Soon, also iHeartRadio. I have submitted the show to iHeartRadio, and I'm waiting to hear back. They actually listen to an entire show, which they do on iTunes, too. Huh. They listen to a whole show, and then they submit it, and then you can be on there.
I see.
iHeartRadio is very popular for podcasting.
Yeah.
Outside of iTunes, it's probably the #1 downloading site, so you'll be able to get to us there soon, probably sooner than later, but we'll let you know. Also, please send us an email at jdogandleevis@gmail.com. Tell us what you want to hear. Leevis is willing to play anything because, like Kimberly at Hill's Tap, he is a whore of his own when it comes to music.
Willing to play anything.
He is, well, yes, he is. Willing to play anything. So, please send us anything you want. Ask questions about the show, things you want to talk about. If you want to be a call-in guest on the show, give us an email. We'll let you call. I don't care. We'll talk to you about anything. Because if you do happen to let a little swear word out, I'll probably just edit it out anyways. So it's fine. We don't have a 7-second delay. We just have a good time.
And we have a bell.
And we do have a bell? Yes, we do. So yeah, try and get a hold of us any way you can. Of course, always on Facebook is where we post all of the podcasts, where you can get most of the information about us by doing a search for J-Dog and Leevis on the Facebook website. Ladies and gentlemen, this is podcast number 17. We are trucking right along here. I can think back to when I was just a young lad in podcast number 1, talking about the Rockford Files, which we haven't touched in quite a while.
Ooh, no, that's true.
Maybe in 2 weeks we could conjure up some Rockford Files. Well, thank you very much for listening to tonight's show. Went a little bit longer than we thought, but that's okay because we love it, and we're going to listen to it right when it's done. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we will talk to you soon. Good night, Leevis.
Night, J-Dog.
Kimberly.